Ba 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 ba. Do 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 do. Here. Yeah. We are closer to Halloween, day by day. 8 inches, crawling closer to us. Got my nails done today. Spooky Halloween. Kind of actually literally stylish nails, which getting actual like acrylic tip nails, it is quite the process, but still it's very impressive. It is an art form to design this shape and make it look nice. And what it was done in an hour, honestly. Like for the most part everything was done very quickly, so pretty cool. I mean, obviously, if I got something more elaborate, it would take longer, but still. This was pretty cool for the first experience of getting nails, and I really like the feeling and even how the illusion it makes my hands look now. And plus, even the fact I'm just intentionally showing my hands more. But I thought I was going to make more content for at home final, but I fooled myself. I absolutely fooled myself thinking there was more content for me to find, which quite literally it turned out to be me finding achievements, which was not very helpful for me because I was like, I already got most of the achievements that were necessary to finish the game. I was looking for more material, more lore, because it leaves you with a lot of questions in the end, honestly, and you're just like, well, I guess we're just left to wonder how exactly her soul is saved, how the deal even came about, why her mom, why her dad, just a lot of freaking questions that will never be answered because I couldn't find extensive... Oh, what the heck is this? What is this on my countertop? No! Sorry, pardon me a moment. I see something that's messy. I need to get rid of you. Get off my table now, whatever this is. Okay, make this a longer process by being stuck. What the heck? Oh, because I had the tape for the bats here and they got crumpled. I see. That was my mistake. Besides that random tangent of cleanliness, I spent a good 2 hours into that game, replaying it entirely, and I just had a video that was pretty much what I already shown before, so I was like, well, that turned out wham, but it was a good talking practice point, so we have that I could refer back to. Could play around with some of the other little features, but since that didn't pan out for new finds, new treasures, new discoveries, thankfully, it didn't mean I was looking through my Steam folder again, and I forgot I downloaded Lake of Voices, which, that was from a while ago, which, when was it sent out? It's under L, so why am I looking in... Brain, look in alphabetical order. Store page. 2018. I have a game that's been sitting in my folder since 2018. And it's from the same creator who made the XOXO game and A Foretold Affair, which you definitely should try. What is it? GB Patch Game. Hold on. I can spell you right. GB Patch. Yeah. You look over there. But GB Patch. It's a very good little collection of games, because it goes into the same vein of Our Life Forever and Always games. I mean, there is some different content, but either way, it's an otome that's made in a different way that still pans out a very excellent story. But from the same people, I remembered they had made a demo back in January 2018, and then in August they released their free horror visual novel game, which you should probably watch the trailer. That would be a smart thing to do. So you're gonna pop over here with me, scratch my face a little, intentionally show you my nails more. Window capture, go on to Steam. Here we go. That way you can see what I see. Can I resize you? That way you're not astronomically... Well, I mean, I can have this astronomically big. That'll save me time and energy in the long run. Here you go. Good. Okay, the audio. And time to say goodbye to the ears. Because again, I've yet to figure out a nice way to cooperate them with my headphones. And music, you have to be quiet so we can see what happens. It's a free visual novel about an ill-fated journey across Sinnlos, a lake where gruesome monsters lurk just beneath the surface. When times being so dire, you'll need to decide what and who is going to be sacrificed. Anyone can be saved, but not everyone can be. Very ominous that they ended on this line. It just sums up the terror that it needs to be instilled. Okay, so we have this. Where's the main thingy? Oh, we're just jumping ahead. Vast lake of black water and heavy fog. When night falls, a twisted maze of bridges ascend from the depths. Ooh! With its monsters, Nyx rise as well, beckoning outsiders to cross, most who attempt the journey. And yet some still try, including on this night, to survive. Regrettably for those souls, you cannot always triumph over the odds. Ooh, shaky. Anyone can be saved, but not everyone can be. Ooh, and we're getting some of the images from the game, and especially the music going down is dramatic. I'm assuming these are the monsters that are there. Whether they're real or not is the question. The steadfast masked. The steadfast mask? Afraid. Desperate. Huh. Empty. Lost. And we see your image at the very end with what I'm assuming either that was a bad ending CG that's on the front of this cover, that someone looking upwards to whatever they're seeing, maybe plunging to their doom. And look, they had it 2018. Since the question, using the phrase anyone can be saved, but anyone can be saved, but then it's the whole fact of, has that time already come to pass? Curious. I don't know how long the game is, but let's start it up and see how this goes. So I need you to pop open. Excuse me, game, why aren't you connecting? Lies! Excellent, good. You can see it. This is such a cool image since it's so dark, most of the image, and just a fraction of it, the frame of the photo, you see light, but going from brightness down to darkness, I just love the shading in it, honestly. Now, CGs. Okay, so technically it might have a lot of surprise CGs, or it might be images that are going to happen common. We have a history. The dialogue is empty. Let's see, settings. Pretty nice. It already sets the music to a reasonable level. Honestly, with voices, I'm going to leave that higher because, again, every time I play a game, it seems the voices get drowned out with everything else going on. So we have all this set. Last thing I will need to do is just switch over, and then we can see what our fate is going to be. I don't know if there's several choices, but the Steam page did say there is 24 achievements. Now, for a short game where potentially saving people, it may play out as our choices are going to cause different achievements, or as it progresses, we're going to attain like chapter achievements. But we'll find out what really happens. Right, I need to finish typing. Click you in. And before we begin, some more juice. Delicious. Before we start, actually, this is on me, myself accomplishment, because quite honestly, a week ago, my freaking skin was doing flaky, crumbly, crispy bits. Ridiculous, stupid skin issues, but after literally smothering my face in aquifer it finally made my skin go back to normal. It may be the fact of it just is not holding hydration, retention, but either way, it finally did the trick because I did castor oil past few other days, and that only helped a bit longer, but not actually like overnight. So again, it's maybe the stupid jelly wax debate of what actually fixes my skin. Still, it would be advisable if I ever went to an actual doctor, but then it's requiring no money to put in to go see said doctor, because it's not a general visit. It would be specialized referrals. I'm like, I don't have the time for surprise bills, no. So that's just on me being like, huzzah, things that I can fix and control are reverting back to normal. A-okay. And even hear that click clack. I love it. It's so much fun. I've only had this for 4 hours now, and just everywhere I can go, just clack on stuff. I did have a few more bats set out, but apparently these bats and whatever's on this wall suck with the sticky stuff. Even with good tape, it fell off, so F the person who painted this room last, because they used this substance that's not sticky balance. But anyways, that was all I wanted to say on that. I'm just happy I'm fixing things. So, besides from that, we can talk more later. I want to see about this game that's sitting in my folder for so long. So, start. I don't think I need to load because quite lately I've just opened it for the first time. I mean, in the definition of normal though, my skin was red, it was cracking, it was uncomfortable to smile and things. And that would be pretty much definition of normal, of having my skin be comfortable to move at once. That's what I mean. I mean, my skin's always going to have issues because it's just sensitive to most things, but oh, lady baby Brownie. Oh wow, you actually came to that name. Hello. So this, well, you can't even see her from this screen. Well, Miss Briley's been good. She got to play. She got to find out she actually, what is it, likes playing with this faux stick thing. So she found a new toy to play with. Hi, I know, you're so cute. Which people could actually see you a little bit more from this. No, you don't even show up in the screen. Brille. That's a brille. That's a brille. That's a brille. That's a brille. What's the brille ears? Yes, Briley is happy and fluffy. And you can see the little snoot. Boop that snoot. I know, you're adorable. Great fluffy floofs. Beep, beep, beep. Up you. A little water drop on the Briley nose. Exactly. That way she has something entertaining to fiddle with that's not crinkly, because she likes to play with the crinkly toys as soon as I start talking, especially if I'm on the phone with somebody. I guess it's just she feels like she's not getting attention, so she needs to be like, listen to me, human. Oh, and how's your day going, Thoth? I'm guessing if you're on the side of the world that it's becoming more nighttime or more daytime. I know, Riley, I hear you. Sleepy baby. Oh, what's that? Hold on. You have a cut on you. No, you just You just have dirt. Lovely. I'll clean it off of you, messy baby. Thank you. Look at her, being squeaky. Always squeaks. What are you looking for? Ma, I don't have anything, silly baby. Little Coopins, you just gonna sit in the corner? No? Oh yeah! That was something. I found a chicken. You can't really see it. Does this help? Look at the chicken! We have now another little collectible item. I don't know what this is from. Probably from like a little kid's farm set, but... Little chicken's mine now. Okay, put you here. That way you don't fall again. And yes, we are ready to begin. And see what happens. And oh, interesting. It gives you a whole page. No. Thank you. Not that toy today, okay? That's very loud if you're gonna play with it right there. You can play with the ball. But it actually tells you about choices. To actually be mindful of it. Man, don't push me. Oh, and they're timed. It actually doesn't give you the surprise. Huh. It isn't something to completely avoid. Some cases not getting involved opens new possibilities. Some aren't timed. Options only determine whether... Oh, okay. Choices that aren't timed are things that deal with affection. If you survive until the second night... Oh, wait, how do I die so easily in the first night then? But the story could branch out into one of 5 different plot points. The other characters can't manage all situations in various plot lines, regardless of what you do. So if the character isn't making it, try getting that plot with a different set of survivors. Or, same group venture through some other time story. Becoming closer to someone adds and or remove future choice options and change how scenes play, obviously, because there's different dialogue. Decision to build that connection. What are you doing? May not go unnoticed. Huh. You can earn a full amount of affection with certain characters. Interesting. I mean, from, what can I say? From actually like Harvest Moon, when I first played it on the Game Boy Advance, the first sets of chickens that I can remember naming were Clucky, and what was the third one? The third one was the more significant chicken because it lasted well into like a few seasons before it fell ill. Oh, I remember now. I named one of my chickens Kyo because at the time, Fruits Basket, the manga had come out, so quite a few of the characters were named. Wait, what? Why did the game start? Ah, wait, why did the game start? What the heck? Okay, weird. Thankfully, we're on the other screen because the game just started without me. But I think I'm going to name this chicken Kyo in honor of the precious chickens from the digital era. And we're going to go back to this screen. That way the game doesn't try to start again without me. Obviously the whole choice page. I'm just surprised they give you all this information up front and not something you're going to be surprised by later. But Okay, that was a jump from reading that text to suddenly entering into the plot. But my grip on the lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forests in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinnlos, I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. Feeling those spidey senses coming up, and like, something bad's gonna happen, potentially. But yeah, I do want that plugin on the screen, that way I have it for later. And we can just slide you down there. Beautiful. Hey, it is way too sensitive with the clicks. Hold on, I am reading. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword. Something akin to a nervous reflex. Wait, can I just click space or do I have to click enter?
Have you seen it before?
They have, like, really fucking... I know this is just the first line, but it's a free visual novel, and that was a really crisp voice. Wow. Good job putting that in. And apparently this is Belmil, which on the trailer it said this character's afraid. Afraid of what? I do not know. Belmel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or assugating. I don't know that word. To Google to learn something new because I am unsure of what I am reading on the screen.
Assuage.
Assuage. Ooh, new word to learn. Assuage. Make a unpleasant feeling less intense. So, sensing my unease or assuaging his own. Oh, I hope it's the latter. Fair. Hi, don't be unicorn. I mean, I don't know if I should say your actual name. That way, to keep your privacy safe, but still. Hello, how are you? It's been so long since I've seen you. Okay, we'll go with Dopey. Dopey? Okay, just to make sure I say that right, because I am known to mess up names on here a lot. I miss you too. It's so crazy that how I stayed in the same state and just over the years things have changed in all the world, and honestly, and even just leaving high school, all the memories appreciate, because I'm gonna be like, how do I say this word? Because quite literally just was on Google to figure out how to say assuaging. Oh shit, you're moving back? I mean, congrats for coming back home, but hopefully it's for all the good things and that you're going to have good, happy opportunities come up for ya. That was a good little segue to get my drink. Oh, you do the same? Wait. Oh, do the same. I get you. But do you stream as well? Because I didn't know if you did that or not. I mean, I remember seeing that you had the little baby rats for a bit. Oh. I mean, I only recently saw Ava from our old friend group, which her world is so different now, where she's like in all these tech jobs and that she's trying to move to the Netherlands currently. What? For 7 months now? That's pretty impressive. Good job to you. Which we do have to make sure we give you a shout out, which I do it like... Oh wait, do I have a button that could do that? There you go. I do have a button. Hopefully it does work.
Pretty lost if you're voting me, but...
No, we've won.
Oh my god, Birdo!
Hello.
actually
This
won
is
unless we
your
have lost
first
them all.
game!
Believing you.
This was her first game and she won her.
Among Us. Always a good time. I mean, especially if you have Discord attached to it. I'm just surprised it didn't already have a chat in the game itself. Which, are you more the person who ends up the killer or ends up being the one who's like running around to the end while you're like, who could it be? The sus among us. Which I do need to click off that button. There we go. Right, which is like Among Us and Dead by Daylight. For those two games not already integrating an in-game chat is a little weird. They don't even have it as an option to integrate into the game. Because, I mean, you can still lose the game if you're talking to people. Having communication can still slip you up and be like, oh, surprise. But still, it does add a little bit of funniness, because since if you can't directly talk to everybody in the group, especially if it's an outside group and not just a private party where you invite everybody. Yeah, I've seen so many people wanting proximity. I mean, they could change it where maybe they add a skill or something that changes the proximity, that could like throw your voice off somewhere. Because there's a singer character, so that would work for some benefit. And especially for killers like Michael Myers in the game, proximity maybe could hinder them, and they could become obsessed if they hear that person first. Good point. I mean, that is the other thing. If there's people who can just smack talk all day long, they would have to probably worry about the filter system, because there's some heavy players in Dead by Daylight who are a little aggressive. But at some point they will hear the demands of the player base, because they just, what is it? Dead by Daylight just made up like another survey for figuring out stuff they're gonna do further down the line. I'd be like, come get this booty. Oh my gosh, that would be very entertaining. Just having like either both the killer or a survivor saying that phrase and just running around the map. I do need some chapstick actually, so this is a good moment. But like, besides Among Us, what other games do you play on it? Oh, I can believe you're the funny type of person, not the toxic one. Because it would just be all the little giggles that would come up randomly. Eddie, I know, I see you. Hi. You're relaxing, I get it. Here, do you want a snack or something? Because you're trying to breathe all over my leg. Hang on a sec. I'll be right back. Yes, that looks like a yes answer to that snack. Here's your snack. Go on your little couch, please. Thank you. See, you can be adorable. Scoochie myself back. But for Dopey, D and D. Wait, that wasn't even the right letters to read. DBD. And oh yeah, phasmophobia. Fear therapy. Oh, what is fear therapy? Because the other two games I know, but what is fear Therapy. A multiplayer and a single-player psychological horror. Try and complete quests and leave the horror house. Find ritual. Oh, this is that game. I never knew what the heck the title was. I just see people play and I'm like, okay, you're grabbing these items. What we doing? Yes, definitely jump scares I've seen in that game. Hey, you play it tonight. Do you play more Survivor or do you play Killer more? And plus, I know there's what? How many? We've had like 4 or 3 new killers come up recently. Something like the Blight. The whole Resident Evil pack too. That's the most recent one that I'm aware of. I don't think they did anything. Oh, you play D&D as well. Oh wow, look at that. Just adding to the collection of all these really good adventure and storytelling and imagination. Which, yes, the very cute doggo who's a little clingy when I start talking because she's like, what are you doing, magical human speaking? Well, at least if I give her snacks, she'll chill out for a bit. Why did I get something in my eye now? Piggy, the Saw character, right? With the red cloak cult outfit. But more Survivor, which... Okay, so that is the same character. I haven't seen a lot of people use the pig one, even though it seems like it's a pretty effective character to use so long as you're able to hit them and put the little cage on them. I get it if you have a lot of trolly survivors who could keep you distracted long enough, but still. The little boots on the snoot, yes. What are you doing? Did you lose your treat? Oh, she's trying to get the crumbs. Oh. It's fair. I mean, already it's quite challenging to get kills in Dead by Daylight because if people are able to unhook the whole wiggle mechanic, if they use the flashlights, it's very stressful when you become the killer character and you're trying just to hook one person and they keep coordinating against you. But it does make taking out the whole crew very satisfying, which I can see you may become a little toxic when you're frustrated. Like, okay, get these characters taken out. That's so freaking cool. I didn't know you were streaming too. Which I should actually make sure I follow you too. There we go. That way I don't forget that, because I could say it and I will remember to click on that later. Oh, damn. What was that for, Briley? That was so rude. Go on. Thank you. That's a cubby that has cords in it, kid. Be safe. But I'm guessing you're one of the people, since you said you were playing, what, later at 11? You're more the late night streamers. I've yet to figure out how to maybe stay on task if I'm playing a game late at night. If I play it earlier in the day, for some reason I have better focus. It might be just the fact of me being tired, but I don't know. There was a few streams I did in the past that were late and they were successful. But again, figuring it out. Try it every day or night. It's gonna be 20 hours? Ooh, that's gonna be a long drive, but definitely get your rest, take a break, get water, and have plenty of potty breaks so you will survive those many hours in the car. In Indiana, dang! That's really... Really? Man. I mean, pretty much it's gonna be a full day trip for you. But still, if from Indiana, how has it been? Oh, yeah, traveling with cats. Traveling with cats is going to be the biggest struggle. You're just gonna hear them just screaming your ear off with their little meow questions of like, why are we traveling? Why am I in this box? Please let me out. Which I guess that's, even though they can not roam around freely, they still are gonna be more loud compared to having a dog. They're just gonna be like, and especially if they try to reach their paws out of the cage and start swatting at things. But seriously, best of luck to that, because that already sounds like time consuming and even patience wise. Right. I don't remember what we were doing. Hey!
Reason to go near this.
I didn't want it to go ahead.
What of you?
Oh, does our main character have a voice too? I want you actually to go back. I didn't get to hear the voice. Well, let me just go to the main menu because this clicking button is way too sensitive. Oh yeah, no problem. Because besides, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna finish stream by the time it comes 11, and I get to see how you play. But yeah, today I felt like doing a spooky visual novel that has some plots, some decisions to make, and I mean, I'm not gonna finish it tonight. I'm kind of just gonna click some things and see where it pans out for my fate. Which I'm guessing my character I'm playing as is this Kikya? I'm believing unless you say 1K and 1 silent. We'll find out. Aw, no. I mean, it is possible you could stream it, but still, you gotta work it out with your DM. Make sure you have all the things, logistics. Oh, yes, please, definitely send me the link so I can see it, because it's fun seeing the roleplay happen in real time and just all the shenanigans that can go down. And it's fun to have something that's not Critical Role, because that's almost like movie production level. It'd be nice to have a little quiet, more shenanigans that go down on something that's not gonna have the chat filled with 10,000 people at once. Yeah, I have Discord, which is... What is my Discord under? I have Discord, but do I honestly use it? I forget about it for a week and then I remember I have it. And apparently you need to log in again. Did I remember to write down the new password again? Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that. Well, I do have the name, because quite literally my Discord name should be what you need. I don't know if you need the number too. Where is my password? Unless I wrote it down. On your main? Oh, maybe. Facebook. Where is Facebook? Because I know you're on... Let's see. Where would you be in this? Wait game. Gosh, it just started. No, I guess I don't have you on there. Okay. Well, we should add you in there. if it wants to load. No, I don't want to do a survey currently. Silly. So, find people here. No, do that. How do you... Where... There you go. I'm, like, looking for a button and it's not quite there. Oops. Honestly, the game's trying to rush me, even though it's supposed to be maybe a tension-building, slow adventure. And then it freaking jumps from the choice thing. DOI. Corn. 01. Oh, does that? Why didn't it go? Oh, because I didn't type in the last one. Oopsie. Oh, I see. I'm dumb. I didn't put the hashtag in. 10. Now it works? What? Oh. That. Come on. Just type. Hey, there it goes. Now it's sent. Hopefully. I'm pretty sure I typed in the right one. Yeah, that looks like it clicked on the right thing. There we go. Because I think you're one of 4 people I have on Discord, so congrats for being in the top 5 people that I've added and even remembered to select on, so congrats! Yeah, so I will check my Discord for that link, that way I can see it. Long live the uwu. Which... I forget which one of these screens, like on my actual regular overlays, I have a border that just says uwu on it. Or maybe it might be over here. Nah, I can't find it. But once it's after Halloween, I'm gonna go back to the other overlays and then you'll be able to see that. Yeah, take care. I mean, good luck to the trip. Good luck on the road. And definitely have fun on your stream tonight. I do hope I will pop in. But again, I might fall asleep, you never know. But still, good luck to it. And I will try to proceed with the game before it tries to rush me on the text anymore. Did I get bit by something? I probably did. I mean, I went outside and mosquitoes are still prevalent here. I'm gonna be happy when it actually turns into winter and we don't have to deal with the bugs. But then we have to worry about the occasional snake popping up. Fantastic. And again, my eye just doesn't want to quit. Which even earlier, I ended up smearing half of my mascara and stuff when I was at the nail place. Thankfully, I didn't try to take pictures of my face there, but still, I was looking a little messy earlier. But I mean, that was before I even had any caffeine to start the day, or even just to wake up. Okay, so we obviously read through this text first and foremost. The nervous reflex.
Have you seen it before?
And now I even just like to appreciate the drawing too, because now we're realizing the text box forms into the fog as well. It's pretty cool. To sensing my unease or assuaging his own.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
Wow. I am happy I went back to listen to that audio. This voice is perfect. It's strong and it's deep. I love it. And so, our characters themselves see no reason to go near this. But apparently today, something has come up that we need to travel. Hopefully we get to learn all these reasons. Belmer scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favorite food is. With him, what could his favorite food be? I mean, can I have my blanket, please? Thank you. I'm kind of cold. My shoulder, specifically. I'm going to guess his favorite food could potentially be a seafood broth or a pasta. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I traveled the long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
Traveled the long way around, so going across the lake is do or die kind of thing, while long way may just leave you with a uneasy sense the entire time. Not the only one who feels it. Sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake. So is the lake called Sinnlos? Most try their best to avoid it all their lives. Hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creature lurking within, aren't a secret, so this is a well-known thing. But it's still an option for people who need it, knowing the dire risk.
No wonder you were assigned this mission.
No wonder? Because since he's already experienced something near it? Ah, there are a few who have had first-hand experience with the place, even if it's from a distance. He probably kept being picked whenever they needed someone to cross, for however long he's with us. Belmer shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
Why would the bridge not be an option? Saying it this time, is that something that's only exclusive?
It would be preferable not to risk it. But time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice.
It's, again, the whole thing of, do you have a choice, or you have a choice that seems like it's the easiest path when really it is the most difficult thing to triumph from? Because they did say already a long way. It could technically be the short way if they just travel faster. Sure, they might be more exhausted, but they could get across this area sooner, just with more effort to take. Oh, one of our allied villages, Helm, is being harassed by brigadiers, a band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as assist, old Belmill and myself. The least we can do is arrive before too late to be of any use. Okay, in that case, people could die if you show up minutes, seconds too late. These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down lest they turn into a bloody grudge or all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off. Okay, so pretty dire if all things could be lost.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
Why are you giving me a smug look about that? A glance at Belmere, an eyebrow raised. Slight smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had.
So we're the level-headed, serious character who maybe... I mean, we did say it was cursed, so we do believe it's rumors. A smile now tugs at my own lips. I would like to thank them, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow. He chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. Belmil appears to feel differently, however.
You know the town on the other side of the lake, though. It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
But aren't you trying to race against a clock to get to a place that almost is gonna break out into war? Why do you want to enjoy it? For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Belmel is a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword hand ready, I have no complaints. This is quite ominous because especially you see where the fog takes away the bridge. Things are clearly getting serious, more spooky. After a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. Slick wooden dock comes into view, and with the sounds of water gently lapping at its sides. Ooh. Belmel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense.
Someone's already here.
Oh. Ooh, wow, there's even designs on his sleeves. Very cool. Oh, a young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it's clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us.
Margaret.
Margaret! Oh, what a posh voice you have. Margaret!
Kika the Steadfast.
We get to actually literally say that as our title? Kika of the Steadfast? I'm loving this character even more.
Bamele. Hello?
Belmel. Ah, damn it. Belmame. I feel like I'm stumbling over that. I don't trust me to actually believe that I'm saying it right. Give me a pronunciation. No, I don't want Bell. I want a Belme. Was it Belme? Belme. Bemil. Oh. I don't know how to speak. Bemel. There we go. Now we can actually say his name correctly. Hello. No other greetings? There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns to gaze out the lake. Expression unclear. With not much to say. Belme and I do the same. Ooh. That really did sound like a creepy whisper. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across the surface, a sound like whispering. Though perhaps it actually is whispering. I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks in rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is. Whether I hear them or not, we're not alone. The Knicks are out there. feeling I can't quite shake tells me they've already noticed the little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks and I instead address Belme.
Where is the guide?
I love the voice. Clearly, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was it 5 or 6 people we have for survivors?
Unless he's on the center island or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
There's a center island? So this lake itself is just greatly massive. And it, for some reason, we couldn't build a bridge above the fog? Unless, of course, this is something like humans displease something in the world and now they've cursed this lake. Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell.
We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
Don't worry, the guide is coming. We just need to develop some more characterization.
You can't cross with him either.
Why? What do you mean, Margaret? The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort. Peasants, I am the one crossing.
What?
Yeah, what?
I know the guide will be here tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross.
Hang on a moment. I just realized I talked all that stuff and more than likely the guide is either making arrangements with everyone or it's just kind of a first come first serve situation. Belme and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to make the trip back if you prefer.
I'm sorry, but do you not even understand our situation? I don't need to turn my attention to Belmeo to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash.
Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight.
Okay. Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further.
We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this.
Fair way to do it. I'm like, hey, maybe we can squeeze in? She clamps her mouth shut, then lets out a sigh and be like, oh, I can't get my way. I'm Margaret.
You can do as you like.
Okay, that was easy. With the matter tentatively settled, Belmel moves away. His fingers begin to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans.
What's that bastard even up to?
He's making his way across the spooky lake. It might take some time to achieve. I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure that. It's not worth mentioning.
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across.
I mean, we're stressed about a situation that's time-based, just like anyone else. We're not reflecting hard enough to realize other people are doing other things on different times.
How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language.
Good point, because apparently there's monsters, which it doesn't sound like we're able to kill these monsters and they're just here to stay.
Do you know anything that's happened with this lake?
Apparently a lot of deaths, way too many deaths have happened. That's what I'm to make assumptions of.
I know enough.
I know enough. Mel. Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him. Hints.
The guide's father is Garvin the Exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Well, that was a giant anchor thrown on, like, emphasis of lore. The Exemplar, so I'm guessing maybe a politician, a warrior. But I mean, this is the second character with a title to them, so maybe they are a certain knight? But even never accepted, so even though it sounds like the guide is doing a tremendous job that is dangerous, but never accepting him, for what reason?
Oh.
Yeah, big O. Belmo rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that.
But I guess we have other information about the guide? Because it doesn't sound like we've been encountering this guide before. So maybe it's just common knowledge around the parts? A smile spreads across my face. One I quickly wipe away. He really did just misspeak. I'll be back in a sec.
I really tried. Okay, Freddy, time to kill. Any day now. TikTok. Damn it, you still got me. You still got me to jump. Still impressive. The terror. Well, let's go to bowling, because bowling, I know I can play. One player, because it's just me. Yes. I don't need the jacket, my hands are not sweaty. Obviously, there's objects I can bump into. My personal best. My level skill is not super great, but I'm sure I will still do well.
How much genuine love you have for the family you want. You imagined your child running around in this very cabin, right?
But an amoeba baby can't do that.
I wish I could have been the father of that lovely child.
But you couldn't. Your throat closes and the more desperate you get.
Got medicine fruit. We got medicine fruit. Monkey. Gonna feel better? Dramatic pause. Monkey. Monkey!
Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to grab some candy. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated, Belmo abashed. Ooh. It sounds like a breath every time you move to each dialogue. Interesting. Honestly, just say nothing. Because again, it did say that that was an option as well, to say nothing. Plus, we're not trying to proceed too far into the game. So, if we don't give enough points to one person, we can see what else happens. We each remain locked inside our own thoughts. Not another word passes between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It's getting closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. This must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the water we can get before it's no longer safe. And this is the character that in the trailer it said empty. He looks quite regal still, so maybe choosing a profession where you're guiding people through the night. Maybe, honestly, it said empty. Maybe he's soulless. Maybe he is one of the monsters if he's able to do this job for however long it takes to have notoriety. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinnlos?
I do believe so. The man nods, and he has a sharp face and weary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
Now there's the question. They said bridge, and they said there's a center lake. Except, are we going on a boat across this water? Because it doesn't sound like we're needing a boat across, but somehow we're going to be able to walk in some capacity. Belmel motions to the two of us, and Margaret approaches, a strange smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have had to say something otherwise. She really does have preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
And now it's the question, is it harder to travel in bigger groups or something?
Yes, I will allow all three of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
Terrible time to eat a gummy, but excuse me? Excuse me? That was said in a very matter-of-fact way. You honestly think one of us is going to perish. So it's truly a sacrifice game where someone's not going to make it no matter how hard we try. For my brow, it's a disturbing endium, but one offered with little emotion attached. Velma glares back, asking without asking what we're supposed to do with such circumstances.
You should go around.
I mean, that's fair, because one of us dying is not a good outcome either way. The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken. If you want to live.
We don't have time for that. There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
I mean, it did say Margaret's character is desperate, so a risk that she's willing to take? Belmel, you are freaking out. He jerks a finger to Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
Well, I mean, it sounds like she's going, but she's determined she's not going to be the one to die. She meets Belmel's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak, and she cuts in.
An extra day or two shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
Margaret, you're being so smug, but I don't know what you're hiding beneath you.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
Oh. So that answers that question. We're literally walking across this bridge because magical architecture from beyond the depths is popping out so we can cross the waters. But we die if we're on it when sun comes up. Okay. The guide is this passionate, stoic. I'd almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share that trait myself. Belmel pulls me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed.
And? Does that need to be a concern of yours? His voice is low. He darts glances at Margaret.
We can easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be a worse fate than her death?
Oh my god, you're gonna give me ethical dilemmas here? Fuck. Because especially this game sounds like it's going to unravel all this backstory. Things that we learn about the character and realizing what we're putting at stake. Candy time! I stare at the dock, refusing to meet Belmel's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible.
We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
Fair, we don't have all the cards to know whose fate is truly impended with a travel tonight.
What?
Yeah. He wasn't even paying attention to us. Rude. Unless he was just surprised by what we said. Belmel leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again.
The guide won't accept something like that, I assume.
Fair, you are right. His face is grim.
Then what else do you have in mind?
Now, what do you plan to do?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay, or we both go.
Why can't you split up? One make the trip first, one go around.
Right. That's not a question.
So we're just accepting that we can't split up? Across my arms, a hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and Belmel's, but there's no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, we might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly be putting Margaret's life at risk on top of our own. Timing. Go with nothing. Honestly, let's see what happens if we choose the most passive route with not making true decisions. The guide approaches Belma and me before I have time to sort my thoughts.
You will stay.
Okay, easy.
What?
You would have already decided to come if you had the proper mindset for a journey such as this. You two will stay.
Okay, well, VC's like, look, I only have so much time. You two are a mess, so I'm just gonna take the one person who knows how to go on the trip.
But you don't understand.
You didn't sort through your thoughts? The guide raised a hand to me, eyes cold. My words die in my throat. If he decides we aren't fit to cross, how could we persuade him otherwise?
This is bullshit! We are more than equipped to make this journey, and we know more of what it means to be in danger than most will know in all their life.
Okay.
You two will stay.
Boo-hoo, we don't get to go. Belma's muscles tense and I put a hand on his arm. He trembles slightly beneath my fingers, his hands curling themselves into fists. He doesn't say another word. The guide turns around and heads onto the bridge. Margaret uncomfortably looks from the guide to us.
Goodbye.
Why even say goodbye? She steps onto the bridge after him. Belma sighs, the anger releasing from him as they disappear into the fog.
Farewell.
Okay. Be safe. We reached Hem safely, though it took much longer than we have liked. Much of the village had been damaged or even destroyed. It was my fault for taking so long. I did what I could to aid them in defending their town and repairing what could be salvaged. Belma was disheartened by how little assistance we were able to provide. However, he could not deny how fortunate we were to both have made it at all, especially after we caught wind of the report given by the guide to the elders up for that night. Wait. A report given by the guide? Huh. Every village close enough to Sinnlos gets informed on what occurs in that lake. He does so because communities wish to be made aware if they have lost one of their own. Oh shit, she died? This time his news was the death of a young woman. The one we spoke to, Margaret, is gone. Huh. I have not heard nor seen the guide myself since then. I must assume he's still there on the foggy shore, waiting for desperate souls to seek out his light so they may cross the lake of true darkness. Although I regret I was not able to do more to protect these people, no one admonished me for it. They seem sure that I did everything possible. I hope that is true, even if I cannot bring myself to believe it. Soon Belmel and I will return home, and we will once again take the long way around. My once peace in all this is that Sinnlos will be far behind me in a matter of days. I intend to keep it there. And I just got an achievement that said safe. Huh. So pretty much the fastest, easiest route you can get in the game that said safe. You can't click on bonuses yet, so that's still a mystery, but there'll be stuff that does pop up here now, right? No, actually, so none of that ending art shows up here, unless it's going to show up once we finish the game. Interesting. Well, let's see what happens when we skip ahead. Obviously, I'm still going to say nothing, but obviously on our next choice, we will say this. Wait, what did it say? Oh, we need to go all the way down. Oh, so we did say the same thing. Armed. Stare at the dock. Okay, so it's the same text up to changing and be like, I believe we should go. Belmel, I believe you. Reply is firm. My steadfast seems almost weak in comparison to its certainty. He addresses the guide.
We shouldn't waste more time. Let's shove off.
Show off. Which probably should just make a save here at the start. The guide slowly turns around, without even a nod to show his agreement. Margaret stares at Belmel and me, something of his resolve in her gaze. Then she follows after the guide. At least she didn't insist we stay behind.
We should do what we can to protect her. It's our fault she's being put in even further danger.
Except you're gonna have to explain why exactly bringing 4 people across is gonna be so detrimental to having to have one person die at least.
Exactly my thoughts. We will take care of everything. Maybe I'm being naive, but I have no intentions of letting anyone fall victim to this lake tonight. Those monsters can starve.
Now, if there's monsters in the lake, I would assume this world has people who worship these monsters as well. He turns to follow the others across. Bold words, bold words. I will protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this. I'll begin. We just got an achievement. Then I step onto the dock and join them. Oh. Interesting. So there's several bridges that are a maze. It's quite literally a maze of bridges. Okay. Then how would you know the way to go? As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water surface as reflective as a mirror. Until we reach land again, death is only one small mistake away. We fall into line, with the guide leading the way. Margaret stays close to him and I behind her, watching to make sure she doesn't slip on the slick wet wood. Belmel bringing up the rear. Okay. Ooh. Good to hear the little metal creak of the lanterns. Each of us hold our lanterns in front of us, but it does little good. Fog is thick and night impenetrable, consuming the light as if it's hungry for it. Above the surface of the lake, it's deathly quiet. No longer is there the whispering wind, nor the sound of water lapping against the shore. It's just our own mismatched footsteps and the sound of my quickening breathing. Ominous. My eyes drift back to the lake against my better judgment. It's no wonder there's not even the sound of water with how still the surface is. It seems almost sturdy, the sheen of black marble floor. I've heard rumors of the water of Sinnlos is heavier, more difficult to disturb than natural water, that just the weight of its oppressive cling is enough to keep someone down, even without them. Something even darker than the abyss of the lake flickers just below the surface, or at least I think it does. I turn my gaze to Margaret's back. It's better to stay focused.
Fall back a bit. You're following me too closely.
Give me some personal space. Oh my gosh, people. The guy just looking over his shoulder, addressing Margaret.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
If someone gets pulled into the lake, they'll instinctively reach for anything to hold on to. Do not let that be you.
Things are gonna pull us into the lake, and you don't want us to cling on to each other? Margaret's shoulders rise and she nods with great seriousness.
I understand. Thank you for the advice.
What is up, Margaret, that you are willing to risk your entire life to cross this tonight? He ignores her gratitude.
You can speak amongst yourselves if you so choose, as long as you pay attention to where you're going. There is no worth in listening to the sounds out there.
So we can't even be prepared for if something is coming near us.
If there's anything at all, it'll only be Nixie trying to set you on edge.
Okay.
All right. Then, could you tell us your name? You didn't have a chance to properly introduce yourself, and I've only heard you being referred to as the guide.
The guide is the guide.
I don't have a name.
He's facing the front again. His voice is expressionless as before. I have no way of guessing how he feels as he says this.
Oh.
Oh, another oh. It's probably something not he wishes to talk about. However, there was something else I wanted to say, so changing the subject isn't so difficult.
Margaret, thank you for allowing us to join you.
I mean, it's kind of an awkward thank you. Like, thank you for making the risk of dying that much higher. She shrugs non-committedly.
It wasn't exactly up to me. The guide said he would take you.
Okay. She hesitates and then looks tentatively over the shoulder at me.
But thank you for saying that. It's appreciated.
Okay, we have a little moment of bonding.
Bemele and I will do our best to be an asset on this trip, rather than a burden.
Okay.
That's nice. I'm not afraid to be out here, though. Still, at least with your training, you should be able to take care of yourselves.
You're not afraid out here? I mean, maybe you've taken this trip before, or what you are desperate enough to get to is greater? Hey! Oracle, hi! How are you? The Angel Army attacks with love, most appreciated. What were you doing today on your stream? Which we can give you wherever the shout out button is on my computer. Did that work? Yes, it worked. Just hanging in the toilet room, which is funny because quite literally when we were shouting out Dopey as well was playing Among Us as well. It's funny. Back-to-back clips. I'm doing well. I mean, low-key kind of day. Just wanted to read a little story that's been sitting in my stream folder for a very long time. Oh, you're drawing! too, but still, doing it digitally is very impressive. Trying to get nice, clean lines. It's impressive. I mean, for all our raiders, welcome in. I'm Selfie Clark, essentially kind of just a nostalgic game player of games that I've had sitting in my game folder for a long time, and every time we kind of progressively try to complete these games. I mean, I do makeup sometimes, play with the dogs, so it's kind of just a cozy, casual place to join in. And you can see there's little bats in the background. Oh my gosh, that thing is way too big on the screen. Why is it so giant on the screen? Or maybe I have it twice. Well, anyways, it's Luna. You get to have the giant banner pop up. I appreciate the follow. Which was nice. It was actually the Tokimeki little gif. Yes, there is times we do play Tokimeki and Otome games. I still am trying to get this PS1 Otome working properly so we can play it, because it is a vampire one. It'd be pretty awesome to try it out, especially for Halloween. And I do want some candy. Hey. But even the little follow thing does. Yes. Well, I mean, there is several Vampire Otome games, technically. I mean, there is the Vampire Knight DS game. What else? I mean, there's a couple of them that are still in Japanese exclusively, but the PS1 I want to play is called Bloody Bride, which has dating and it has fighting in it as well as time management, since it's a whole... I appreciate that. Apparently my voice has that kind of effect, which there's a good English translation to the Vampire Knight game that works with most of the DS emulators, so it is possible to play it, and to play pretty clean and not janky. Gosh, I chew the gooeyest piece. Apparently I have the gift of a interesting, relaxing, yeah, which is it, if you can see. Which, I mean, this was the full set. I mean, it has the pants with it too, but I'm just wearing shorts instead. But still, it's nice having the nice, I mean, this is technically cosplay. I don't have crazy orange hair to put with it, but still. We've got some Halloween costumes in the works. Exactly. I can't jump as high as Hinata, but we can be like, yeah, go spike the ball. But I never really played volleyball in my youth. It was more I played lacrosse, because that was the thing I liked to do. People out there. I mean, besides that vampire game I want to play, there's always all the DS games, because what is it? There's Prince of Tennis, the Vampire Knight, there's Love Revo. Oh, there is a recent other vampire game that's on Steam. It has, what is it? It's a female vampire that awakens and she's reverted back to a child. It's a whole Princess Maker style game where you level her up to become the ultimate vampire. So that's the recent one I was remembering. I swear, don't remember who it created by. What was the title of that? Life management? Would you call it life management? Management? I don't need that. It was on Steam. Maybe Life Sim. Nope, the first thing that pops up is that. That is not what it is. One day, I know I have it on my wish list, but that's another game that will pop up as well. We have so many days left till Halloween appears. Which, I mean, I don't know how much this game is actually going to be spooky or disturbing, but it seems like Lake of Voices is a game that has monsters that we could see or maybe we can avoid altogether. Kind of figuring it out, because we just only started the game where literally the game starts and tells us one person's going to be sacrificed and die no matter what we do before we reach the other side of this maze of bridges. Because we can already see there's path up there, path up here, path to the right. Don't know exactly how my choices are going to affect everything, but at this point I'm kind of taking the more passive route to see what happens if we're not too assertive with our survival. So right now we were talking with Margaret. Seems she's very the character that was shown on screen before. But we're playing as our main character named Kikia, the Steadfast. That I don't remember who's saying this line. It's probably Kikia. It's comforting to know that everyone here is so confident in their abilities. Not enough to forget how terrible it feels to be over this lake. I'm not sure if that is fortunate or unfortunate. Believing yourself to be secure doesn't mean that you are. As the conversation lulls, a new sound breaks through. The whispering noise again. It's the clatter of inhuman voices. And this time, coming from all around us.
Taking care of yourself is exactly what you need to do.
And we've got this character who's apparently able to survive traveling across this lake for X amount of years. Which even now begs the question, why the guide doesn't have a name. It's very soulless-like. And somehow doesn't get killed by these monsters on this lake. I mean, we could be dealing with a character that may have given up a part of their soul to keep them safe, or the monsters don't see him as a worthy sacrifice anymore. The guy is speaking again, except louder as if to cover the Nixie's voice with his own.
Work to survive at all costs, and hope that everyone around you has enough sense to do the same. That's the only way you'll make it to the other side.
At all costs. So first and foremost, he wants us to be concerned with survival, but you hope that everyone around you does the same. Okay. Because I'm trying to take which words to be hints at what I should take as action with the game. Margaret nods in response, but I hear a grunt from behind me.
Groups tend to go further when they work together to achieve the same goal.
Right, I mean, as long as someone's not trying to sabotage you, it sounds like most people can survive this event, even though they did already predict one person is fated to die. The guy doesn't say anything else in response to Belmel's grumbling either. I'm not so sure whether he didn't hear Belmel or whether he just didn't feel like the statements made thus far are worthy of addressing. I have a feeling it's the latter. Our character really likes the phrase latter. We go around a large bend in the bridge, part of it forking off to another way. I wonder how the guide knows which of these is essentially identical paths is correct when something in the corner of my eye catches my attention. What could it be?
I believe I saw something over there.
Then again, how much can we believe that that's real? Because, I mean, the guide's the only person who knows truly what's going on. Hang on a moment. I see my phone flashing. What are you doing? Phone? What? Oh, people at work. What are they doing? We're good. I don't need to worry about work phone calls until I go to work tomorrow. Huzzah!
Keep walking. No need to worry.
No need? So, we can't trust my ears, we can't trust my sight? All we can trust is the guide? The guide's voice is calm and level. I decide against pressing the issue. Not wanting to set everyone even more on edge.
What did he say?
Ignore what you hear and just proceed forward. Perhaps not wanting the conversation to be caught by the guide, he speaks softly, though I couldn't quite hear him because of it. This is truly terrifying. Should we be worried? Okay, well, I take my eyes off Margaret ahead for a moment to explain it to Belmel and be like, so, sir, as you want to whisper and stop dead in my tracks, only one word is able to escape me in my stunned state.
Behind.
Well, at least you said the right word. Be like, something's behind you. Something's there. Behind Belmel stands another figure, looming in the darkness. Seeing my face, Belmel grabs the hilt of a sword. He whips around and staggers swiftly backwards. Several meters away, a crooked, twisted black figure hobbles its way towards us. Some kind of liquid drips off its head, curling around the edges of its face. It almost looks like it's crying. Do I have to make a choice? I really hope it's nothing time-based. Belmel backs up until he's standing beside me. The figure continues its slow advance, head jerking from one angle to another.
What on earth?
So I'm guessing this is the monsters that they were talking about. Yay! Fantastic! Murder!
It's one of them.
One of them, so we know what these look like already?
Yes, Nixie that stumble across the bridges looking for opportunities.
You don't seem very panicked, but then again, it just described it hobbles towards us, which, if it's hobbling towards us, shouldn't we be able to hear that noise? Or are they just so quiet that they just walk on their own? And apparently Nixies is plural for multiple different monsters unless it's a entire entity. Oh, so he just zoomed up to us. He's standing next to us. I didn't even notice his approach.
The ones that can make it out of the water are generally referred to as prowlers.
Oh, there's a hierarchy. So there's some that can't even escape the water. So we're dealing with mermaid monsters, hobbling monsters, and some other kind of creature as well, I'm assuming.
I had no idea things like that were out here. Is that what Kika saw down the other path?
Potentially. You never know. The guide says nothing, instead returning to the front of the party, ignoring that a prowler is behind us, just shuffling about. Margaret watches him pass. Her frustration morphs into nervous optimism when something seems to come into her mind.
Well, Nixie aren't slowed down much by swords, but at least light keeps them away.
Is that just a myth? Margaret's hand grips her face tight and desperation bleeds into her voice. I bite the inside of my lip.
Direct light will force it to return to the lake. However, it'll try to drag the light, or you, down with it before it goes.
Well, that's a problem. Well, I mean, if you have the cane... But then if it takes your light, then you're defenseless, unless you're able to secure it. Instinctively, I reach for the hilt of my sword, despite the fact it will do little to protect me. The prowler is getting closer, jerking forward, stopping, and then resuming its slow advance.
Okay, does anyone have a light we can leave here? That way it won't follow us.
Is there nothing else we can do? I mean, it's a hobbling, slow creature. Shouldn't we be able to shove it back into the water?
Only matches.
Only matches. Well, now, why don't we have extra lighters, or even just, we could throw garments and make a little fire. That would keep it away. Belmel spits. He's the one bringing up the rear, so he's the one most likely to be in danger if it keeps following. The guide, however, moves forward.
Don't forget it's there, don't let your guard down, and don't get left behind.
Sir, what are we doing? We're just being like, it's behind you. You're gonna have to continuously watch out for it.
What? How am I supposed to keep walking with this thing at my heels? You said it wants to attack.
It said the ones that can get out of the wall are prowlers, so... If anything, you walk faster, or you get it to stumble back in the water?
Don't give it the chance.
Except you know it's there. How are you supposed to continue knowing it at any time could reach for you? He sputters in anger, and the guide summarily ignores him. I solidly grab a hold of Belmel's upper arm.
Here, I'll lead you like this, and you can keep your focus solely on the prowler. Make sure it doesn't get too close.
I mean, that means I'm losing focus by having to forcibly drag him forward. But then why do we need to focus on it if we could just figure out a way to get it off our back? The male's eyes the guide with unresolved hostility, but allows himself to softly sigh in relief. His gaze at me with fondness.
At least there's someone I can count on.
I mean, we don't have the backstory yet about our relationship, but it seems like we're some kind of knights or swordsmen, soldiers of some kind. But again, it seems like we don't know each other very well with the way we described each other. Maybe we're like work friends currently. Despite the fact I'm going against his advice, the guide says nothing more. It's clear now that he doesn't give a damn if we end up doing. Some part of me is loud for that. I want to help everyone make it through. It would be worse to have to persuade the guide every time help was necessary.
Kika, thank you.
We're apparently doing what a work friend would do for each coworker. Because it seems like this is a do-or-die situation, us traveling across this lake with a stumbling creature. He places a gentle hand on my shoulder. So random that we have a choice right now as we just see the freaking monster up there in the corner, just like, I'm coming for you. I mean, do we want to pursue him yet? I mean, we're saying we're work friends, so we'll just nod for now. Belmel's face hardens in return. He moves his free arm down. I fully link his arm with mine, and now, properly settled, look forward. Margaret is following the guide with some reluctance, turning back every so often to check in on us. I wave my lantern to signal we're catching up. Margaret returns her head to the front and quickens her pace. With a tug on Belmel, we start to follow them again. Was the footsteps we just heard the creature or our own? No, that's... The four of us continue cautiously over the bridges. Only this time, the wet, squishing footsteps of the prowler join the sound of our own. Just... The prowler walks without a set pattern. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. It takes long steps, then short ones. At times it stops walking entirely. So these are beings that were not meant to be on land, it sounds like. They're water-based creatures of some kind. Does it hurt to be out of the water like this? Or is it trying to be difficult to read? Oh, that is a good point. Keep them on their toes, and then they can strike whenever they want. Suddenly, the whispering in the lake grows louder. I steel myself, trying not to let it get to me. The most important thing in a situation like this is to remain calm. I can't lose my head. Then all at once, I notice the guide and Margaret have come to a halt.
Bemele, they're stopping.
Belme. Wait, was I saying Belme? Belme. No, I was saying it right. I keep questioning myself. Belme slows down as I do, and as we near Margaret's back, she says something akin to a distress.
There's another one.
Ew, we've got to deal with two. Slow-moving, bumbling little creatures coming closer and closer, unless we divert our path elsewhere. I tug on Belme and he understands. We draw up close to Margaret, ready to protect her if need be. But the guide holds up a hand.
Don't get any closer.
God, it's so unnerving but beautiful that they would put the creatures in the background. You can see them, but they're blurry. They're further away. It is a very nice touch to keep you on your toes. Just over his shoulder, I see another prowler stumbling towards us, white liquid dripping from its eyes. The guide's hand turns over in the air, palm up.
Give me a lantern. We'll throw it.
So you don't have any special equipment or abilities to keep them away. How has the guide survived this long, with only the luck of a lantern being able to be thrown in? Margaret extends her own with a trembling hand when Belmel speaks instead, his back still turned.
If you have to take someone's, take mine.
Very kind, but why? Unless, of course, you're trying to get the one off our back first.
Yes, an extra light won't do us much good when we're standing this close together.
Okay, there is that logic as well. Margaret takes Belmel's lantern from him, guarding relief displayed on her features.
Thank you.
Most appreciated, Margaret. She hands the lantern to the guide, whose hands grip it tightly, knuckles growing pale.
Stay here. I can't throw it too far. The light will blow out before it reaches the Nyx.
Okay, well, I mean, good point. We're dealing with matches and wax. He steps closer. Oh my god, we're seeing it zoom in. That's uncomfortable. He steps closer to the monster, his movements light and confident as he nears. The prowler starts to back away. Is it only approaching the light that's making it retreat? Or are they afraid of him? The guide is far enough away from us that the fog is partially obscuring him, hiding his movements. The voices of the lake grow louder and louder. Water suddenly begins to splash across the lake, in the distance and onto the edges of the bridge. Bro, don't tell me something else is gonna come after us. They want him to mess up. I don't notice how tense I am until Belmel eases my grasp on his arm. Then suddenly the guy takes multiple long, fast strides forward, throws the lantern and jumps backwards to regain the lost distance. With a sharp shh and then a deep splash, the voice of the Nyx grows quieter. Not silent, but quieter. A sigh escapes me and the guide comes back to our group.
We should keep going before it comes back.
Wow, you even have a design without the lantern. These little tidbits I'm very impressed with. So did it have both of them jump in or just the one in front of us then? Because we can't keep doing this. We only have 3 lanterns left. And obviously we have to keep 1 at most. I glance at Belmel and realize he too was looking relieved at the guide before us. And then, oh no, and then I see it. Did it just lurk up to us? Oh no. The first prowler, remember the first one that was being a problem. It's still here. It's right there. Pull him. Obviously, that would have been a bad thing. We were about to lose somebody. Shift around, pulling Belmel behind me. The prowler lunges after him, barely missing Belmel, but striking my lantern instead. The fire goes out and the 2 of us are plunged into an unearthly darkness. Wait. We have 2 lanterns. Okay. But we still lost one that was not needed to be lost. Okay, well, I guess we got rid of the problem then. Still, we lost a lantern that may have not needed to be lost, because we forgot about the other Nyx lurking and Birkin in the back. Then there's a slick splash. I realize the Nyx has retreated into the water. Somehow Belmel and I are still standing. We're still here.
Kika, thank you.
What? Why are we suddenly stopping our sentence? Wait, are we gonna die? Did I already mess up? Oh my god. Okay, I can't respond. Something cold, wet, and slimy has grabbed my ankle. Kick it, hurry. Kick it off. All the choice space, the stress. I kick my leg out as fast as I can, and the Nyx hold slips. I can't pull with the momentum I've gained against it. Margaret rushes to my side, her lantern hanging out towards the Nyx. The light brushes its face, and we see it for an instant, its eyes wide, and then it slides back to the smooth surface of the water. Okay, so we were just saved by Margaret. Greatly appreciate that. Belmel grabs Margaret and I before helping us towards the center of the bridge and cursing under his breath.
I only looked away for 1 second.
Apparently it was longer.
It's fine, Belmele. We're all fine.
Belmele. Oh, Belmele. Belmele.
Are you actually alright?
Are you actually good? I think so. She cocks her head down, examining my ankle, but there's nothing but a wet smudge across. smudge around my trousers.
I am fine.
I mean, you just risked dying, essentially in 2 consecutive moves. I say that, though, I don't want to let go of Belme. I need to in order to realign our lanterns and provide us actual safety, but I feel such a strong desire not to be alone in this moment. I shake my head roughly and let go of him, relighting the lantern as fast as I'm able to. Oh, we didn't lose, it just blew the light out. Oh, I misread that.
Kika, thank you. Again. You saved my life. I won't let this happen again.
I mean, if it has to happen again, I'd rather you save my life just back and forth. We can pay each other debts.
Yes. Yes. It would be good for all of us to pay more attention.
Fair, fair. That way we keep our wits about ourselves. She nods solemnly. Wait, solemnly. Suddenly, it's like we're all on the same side. It's not only Belmel and I, she is with us in more than a simple presence. The guide's voice, as cold as the monster's grasp, ends my train of thought.
We lost the lantern I threw, and Nick grabbed it after the light went out.
I mean, that was the risk that we were going to have, right? Margaret makes a noise. I glance over, wondering whether she's upset, but there's a small smile on her face instead.
It's better than them taking anything else.
Okay, the positivity in the situation. Nervous laughter bubbles up out of me and just as quickly stops. Belme chuckles in response, and our collective tension eases up, the adrenaline draining from our bodies.
We need to keep walking.
Okay, after that kind of stress, sir, can we take a moment? Even though we do have to worry about the sun apparently coming up as well. I finished my candy! The guide starts down the bridge again, and we join him. Try to clamp down on the relief, the ease that wants to flood my head. It's not over. The prowler is gone, but so is Belme's lantern.
You can stay near me, Bemele, since your lantern is lost.
I mean, you're at the back. We have to make sure the person who's furthest is kept safe as well.
I appreciate it.
I guess us saving each other's lives is not a usual business. Margaret goes on ahead of us. Belmel stays by my side as I keep at the end of the line. Ugh. Well, this is good. We don't have creepy monster in the background anymore. The breath of release for Margaret and Belme is quickly swallowed by the somber atmosphere of Sinnlos as well, replaced by the gravity of the near-death experience. Never mind celebrating his survival. Something like that shouldn't have happened in the first place. The memory of the prowlers reaching out towards us appears each time I close my eyes.
Why does it look like something's dripping down their faces?
Thank you for asking the question I was wondering about. The prowlers are on Margaret mine too. Looking at her pained expression, it is as though the moment of relief never existed at all.
I'm not sure.
So maybe this is information that's maybe not revealed to people who are maybe not historians.
Me neither. Something's wrong with them, though.
I mean, besides trying to kill us?
They live in water. Air shouldn't be good for the things, but they want to drown humans so much they're willing to drag themselves around on land? It's not right.
Okay, I mean, that's another question, given it explicitly told us that these creatures either are evolving or some of them are willing to nearly sacrifice their body to get on land to take us. But then it's a question of why? Why all that effort just to drown a single human? Of course it isn't. They're monsters. They likely do not understand even the concept of right and wrong.
Well, I don't disagree that there's something very wrong about them. I truly, truly hope that's the last we'll see of the Prowlers.
Nah, I mean, for what we're dealing with, a long night ahead, we're bound to see. I'm going to say, at this point, I say we see 4 more Prowlers before the end of a actual ending. Not a bad ending, but a full-fledged ending. Something comes to her mind, causing Margaret to end her part of the conversation early.
Since you two have to share a light, wouldn't it be safer to be in the middle?
Very concerned. I mean, that does put you still at a risk of keeping the 2 protectors in the middle instead of on the outsides. Margaret stops and waits for Milne and I for us to reach her position.
That way, you'll catch the edges of my light and the guides, and it won't be so dangerous if Bamele loses his position momentarily.
Well, yeah, they did say we could potentially be dragged down, so being in the middle, most light being reflected off.
That's a very kind offer, Mark.
Which again, why are you being something so nice? I mean, sure, we didn't save your life directly, but still. Belmel's surprise is so apparent, I want to cover his face with my hands to stop him from insulting her. She merely smirks. I think Margaret may be surprised with herself too. Belmel returns to his usual short. What? How do you say this? Shirtery? I don't know the word. I don't know what it is.
Surety.
Surety. That's how you say surety? Can I say this properly?
Surety.
Surety. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Gotcha.
As thoughtful as it is, I, at least, am fine with bringing up the rear. I'm used to keeping watch for monsters, and since there are 2 of us, I can pay attention to the back while Kika focuses ahead.
Okay, I mean, clearly you understand the position that you're in, that you're trained. Though apparently these kind of monsters are not the only thing you've dealt with in this world.
It's not my light, though, so I shouldn't be the one to decide what she should do with it.
Oh, are we gonna make a choice? Margaret and Belmel turn to look at me in unison. Seems like it's my time for a decision. Neither am I wrong. As for me, my goal is to protect everyone. I can't very well do that with Margaret following behind us. But being stuck in the middle of the group could also be dangerous depending on what circumstances we come across. Getting pincered by the enemy would be almost sure death, no matter how experienced Belmel and I are. I just don't know what to expect from this bridge, and that just makes things so much more difficult. Oh no, timing! Pick you.
You're staying behind?
I mean, the whole thing of we don't know if things are lurking behind us. Sure, being in the middle sounds safe, but we need to be on guard.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we'll be good here.
I hope this was a good decision.
But really, thank you. That was a very kind offer.
I do appreciate Kika using that and actually voicing appreciation.
Well, alright.
Hey, Margaret, I mean, your light will be useful, but I need more defensive training. Margaret respects our decision and trots ahead a bit to catch back up with the guide. He has paid no mind to this entire affair. So, Belmera, how are you doing with nearly dying just now?
So, I don't want to sound like a child, but how much longer until we arrive at the halfway point?
Wait, so technically this means we would be halfway the game then, if we're going based on a linear path. Margaret chuckles, reflecting the amusement I don't want to vocalize.
We still have some ways to go.
Okay, fair.
Damn.
Well, I mean, for already experiencing danger, you want it to be done. I suppressed my laughter yet again at his pouting response. The gloom we've been under dissipates slightly, like light flickering through the fog.
The first trial tends to be the most difficult. I believe we will only react better from this point on.
What do you mean first trial? I mean, are you generally speaking about just having bad things happen? Or first trial like the first leg of the race?
I like the way you think.
But hey, she's giving all this positivity, which is making me more concerned that she's going to die. Because already we've learned that taking the absolutely non-passive route leads to Margaret's death, even though we ourselves didn't cause anything. So it just screams that Margaret may be the most likely person to get sacrificed in any case. Because then the whole thing of the title, anyone can be saved, but not everyone will be. Gosh, they're giving us good character development and how they think. I'm getting scared for what could occur. Then a gleam enters Belmay's eyes, and he grins.
I think Kika deserves a round of applause. Her quick reflexes are owed the utmost appreciation.
My quick thinking, because I know how to do time-based reactions, because until dawn. He leans softly into my shoulder, trying to get me to... What?
It was indeed a sight. You're quite capable. Bemele was also a sight, but for very different reasons. The way he froze with his mouth all agape was a laugh in itself.
Oh, you really shouldn't have continued this conversation. She just dragged you. She dragged you, bruh. Ha ha ho. Bellamy shakes a fist at Margaret in mock anger, then shoots me an affectionate look. I thought we were work friends. Like, what is this? I mean, maybe we're just learning about each other now.
You should know, she and I are usually on equal footing.
Okay, so we seem to be comparable to each other, very compatible skill rank.
The only reason you had footing at all is because she pulled you back.
Damn, Margaret, as positive you are a sass. Bella laughs self-consciously, scratching his head.
That's very true. You can always count on Kika.
Damn, the main character is so dependable, but clearly it's nice that we are playing as this character because we hear the inner thoughts, these dilemmas, these emotions that are going to bleed through at some point. As much as everyone's calling us calm and collected, we're still human. We still have fears that come up. We're not emotionless. I keep my eyes steady ahead, unsure how I should respond. I'm pleased, almost grateful to hear what they think of me. But I don't know what I could say that wouldn't seem pathetic. Instead, I contribute the best way I can. Keep my focus on the path ahead of us. Without a response from me, the conversation quickly dies out. Still, it eased my heart to be on such friendly terms with my companions. Oh no, because especially the music just shifted with that lightheartedness. After some time, I noticed Margaret isn't keeping up with the guide as much as she was before. Realizing, why, guide, bro, don't run away. It's because the guide has increased his pace. Margaret begins to jog in an effort to keep up, and Belmy and I do the same. Despite this, the guide keeps getting further away. Where are you going? We go faster and faster, and suddenly we're full on sprinting across the slick wooden boards. Figures in the dark shadow fly past us in a blur, and it occurs to me, the branching... Wait, are we too late? Are we gonna sink into the water? We appear to be sinking. I try hard to swallow my rising panic. The guide shouts something, but it's drowned by the frantic pounding of our footsteps. I'm trying to piece together what he said. Don't stop, turn. When he takes a masterfully sharp right down a different path, using his own momentum in the sleek wood to slide into the new direction with no loss of speed. Margaret must have not worked out the warning either, as she's completely caught off guard by the guide's change in course. He runs straight ahead, past the turn, and continues down the path as we've been following up to now. Oh my lord, that cough was reaching up. I was feeling that mucus come up me. Anyways, Margaret might die unless we fix this. She clumsily begins to halt her momentum down the wrong bridge. And I come up to the fork. Oh, decision time. Turn, turn, turn. I mean, is this gonna be really bad? Because the only words we got was don't stop, turn. I make a hard turn following the guide and leaving Margaret at the rear. Belmay's footsteps stay loud as they were before. He's made the turn as close behind me as ever. Oh, cried. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Margaret turn around to try and come back to us, only to have the bridge in front of her fall away. I slow down a breath, feeling the impulse to turn back, but ignore it. There is no time. Margaret can make the jump and then rejoin us. I keep my eyes glued to the guide's back, ears perked for Margaret's footsteps approaching behind us. And then I hear it. A scream. I whip around, sliding to a start. Margaret is sinking. The bridge she's on is sinking into the water. She's disappearing. She didn't jump.
What are you doing?
Yeah, bro, come on. Margaret's head shoots up, her face drained of all color.
Jump!
Come on, jump, please. Don't make this an accidental death, please. She stumbles near the edge of the bridge, staring at the placid water of the lake. Even from a distance, I can see her shaking. I can't say if it's from the bridge's descent or her own fear. She barely seems to remain standing. I swallow painfully. Oh. Margaret bends and tries to jump. She curves in a small arc, achieving more height than she should, and lands directly into the lake with a muted splash. Well, this is a disturbing scene. Bellamy starts beside me, and I grab his hand and pull. We start running again, leaving Margaret flailing in the water behind us. We don't need to watch this. We both know exactly what will happen to her now. Margaret's anguished cries pierce the night, and then the screaming stops. My legs... Oh, we just got an achievement. Inevitability. My legs grow weak. It isn't right, but I push myself to keep going. Belmay curses between heavy breaths, calling those things every foul name in his large book. I try to focus on the pounding of my feet, but my brain won't cooperate. Instead, I imagine Margaret's terror as she clawed to pieces by the nicks. After everything, I didn't help her. We left her in the dark. As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Almost as in response to my thought, the guide abruptly halts. I skid to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood.
Why did we stop?
Like, bro, we were on full running mode, except didn't it say that the bridge would be sinking when it became dawn? Or it just randomly starts sinking whenever it feels like it? Hit me good with my code. Oops, don't knock shit. Belmay's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guide doesn't answer, just stares at something slightly out of view. I step up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. Ooh, hey, what? How are you here? That means you've been on this bridge for a while. Oh, unless you're someone who risks coming across the bridge without help. There, curled in a little ball, illuminated the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently.
It's a man.
Wow, surprise.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Please. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's concerning either way. Meeting a random person after we just essentially sacrifice somebody to whatever fate happens. Yeah, I'm struck with an array of questions. What's going on? Why would he wander out onto these bridges on his own? Did he make it this far by himself? Were there others with him? Oh yeah, because what if someone else assumed that they were the guide and lied about it? If that's somehow the case, I can't believe him for the state of shock he's in. The man stopped mumbling. He glances above him, seeing only just now having the strength to lift his head. The expression, the deep sadness along with the clear markings of terror are scrawled across his face. I stare at him in shock, not sure what to do.
Leave him.
Leave him? Why? Why? Are we leaving him because he didn't come with you, or because he would put us at more risk again? I snap my eyes away from the man instead to the guide's cold, implacable, impalpable. I don't know the word. Palpable. Not incapable. in place.
Implacable.
Implacable. I was right. I misjudged myself. Implacable face.
No! We can't just leave him here. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
Though, how did he survive thus far?
He won't make it regardless.
Why? Do you somehow can see the fate of people's lives? The guide turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closeness of his lantern. The first time I feel uncomfortable in his presence.
Whoever shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
I don't know, should you try? I mean, we just failed to keep one person alive. I mean, this could be the game's way of giving us redemption, or it could be giving us a bad ending flag. I glance at my partner. Belme is outraged. I'm trying to think of some kind of compromise when the guide speaks again, his voice cutting.
If the man comes, then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges.
Why? Why that much distance all of a sudden? That's curious. Huh. Alright.
I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't.
Ah.
Ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
That's a big risk, but clearly, if the game is making the suggestion that I could save people, I should take this risk at some point. And I'm realizing I want to change the height of my chair. Oh, that was a water bottle. Adrenaline surges through my veins and I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but merely show us the way. We're on our own. Belme and I frantically share more looks between each other, like trying to communicate without words. Neither of us had the desire to speak and be the first to make a choice, but I shall be the one to make a decision. The man is standing now, though still hunched with his arms wrapped around himself as is expecting a blow. He stares at the ground rather than us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
Yeah, I kind of give some a backstory of like, how did you manage to get this far into this place? You're not looking me in the eye. Okay. He glances up. Not at me, but towards me. His eyes resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
That's really questionable. I mean, for so many things. For one, you want to assume we want to abandon you. Two, you want to make the assumption that we're just going to ignore you altogether. And three, why are you so dismissive knowing the fact that once we leave, you are in danger of death?
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
We're clearly good knights of whatever we are, because for one, we are very protective of people and we have not demanded money or anything from anyone.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much, but that's not exactly a fair shake.
Well, I mean, you don't have a weapon and you've been running around and you were seen in a panic. That is enough for me to start questioning ya.
Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. But that's not how things always go. doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
Do you have some kind of trick up your sleeve? Then again, was you laying on the ground kind of a trick? Maybe you're mentally very witty. The man responding is meandering, the words himself to be in good jest, but he's still barely looking at us, fidgeting with his hands. Or he could be just bluffing and lying. Belme frowns unimpressed.
It was a joke.
Is this really a time to be joking? We're literally having bridges sink under our feet. He smiles hesitantly, making eye contact with each of us for the first time. And you're making a really judgy face, so I don't know, you might actually be a sneaky character.
What part of it was supposed to be the joke? Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
Yeah, that's what I'm questioning. How... Then again, some people do take humor in the worst situations.
Never mind. Forget that too.
And you're so dismissive. What is going on? You don't even give us your name.
Point is, I'm alright.
How? I don't believe that for a second, but now I'm concerned if you're a cunning, clever character.
You have found yourself out alone and unlit on Sinnlos.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
I mean, either he's looking for somebody, he's trying to get across, he has some other objective, or he's not quite human.
Oh no, sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Your father, okay. Some important mission going on? He lets out a weak laugh coupled with an eyebrow raise, voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. The man gives a small wave and begins down the path we came. Why? Why are you going? You saw us coming from that path. Why are you trying to go back? Knowing the danger we just ran from. Emily huffs, tossing his hands in the air. Children these days.
That's not even the right way.
Is it? Because we don't know what his objectives are.
It is for me.
It is for you the right way. Okay, sure.
Oh? You must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore you started on.
Oh, okay, maybe we'll get some answers on that. Man's smile grows.
Good. That's not so bad.
But still, you have another league of area to go through, and you already were crashing here. There's no response to this mark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs a light, and the guide himself said he won't be able to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
But he said we would only be able to keep at a distance, knowing the great risk that we would be beheld. I look over the man's body, noting the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking a muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to leave us has faded yet again. Now he's standing quietly, looking at us as if watching a play. Interest, but no true connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering?
Yeah, that's a big question.
It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
Okay. Elame's hand turns to fist. He looks away, but doesn't say anything. For a moment, no one does. I feel a cold sweat on my brow as what I feared has come to pass. He's stopping us from protecting another. Why must he get involved now? Why can't he not leave us to make our own decisions?
You... Don't worry about me. I'll be on my way now.
I don't know. I mean, maybe stick with the more passive route? I'm feeling conflicted. The man's voice is full of something I cannot place, and he starts to shuffle back down the way we came, arms still clenched around himself. I know the guide wants to act, though there's no option. However, I could stay back with him. What do we mean by this? It'll put Bellamy and myself at significantly more risk, but at the least this man will stand a chance. Forgive me. We're taking the more passive route. We're not. We're letting things unfold as much as I'm concerned how this is going to go down. I can't risk it. Elmer stares at the man as he leaves. We both watch him drag his little frame down the bridge, quickly fading from sight. We had to let him go. We've already suffered the loss of one of our own. The space the man vanished into is dark and silent. We can see and hear nothing of him, not even his footsteps. The guide was right. There was no other options. Well, that's what I'd have to believe. We need to get through this somehow, and being weighted down with the guilt was only distract us. The guide starts moving again at a quick pace. Oh, we gotta start running again. After a moment's hesitation, one last glance into the truly lifeless fog, we run to catch up to him. We walk onwards in silence. Our party hasn't changed. The stranger was never added to it, so it's not as if it makes sense to miss him. But there's a sense of loss all the same. No one even attempts Murph. I keep thinking I should have done more. Should have pushed the guide harder to change his mind so it was at least less dangerous to keep the man around. Something. Anything. But I have to let this go. I'm not going to forget that man. I'll never forget him. But we still need to get through this. I curl my hands into fists, hoping it will strengthen my resolve. Then I push forward. We turn down a different path and the guide stops. Oh, nah. This isn't great. This isn't great at all. Ahead of us stands a group of prowlers. At the sound of us, they turn their heads in unison, as if they knew we were coming. I inhale. The prowler wiggles somehow, their skin moving more slowly than it should. Sliding across their skeletons, they laugh.
We cannot lose another lantern at this point. We're almost to the island.
Now, what happens when we get to the island? The guide rummages through his coat with his free hand.
What are you planning?
What could you have up your sleeve? Belmay's tone is borderline threatening, but the guide ignores him, as usual. He pulls out a small pouch, then opens a latch on his lantern.
Wait, are you going to throw that at them? What if the bridge sets on fire?
I mean, you said the bridge was slick. Why on earth would the bridge actually burn when it's been soaking in water, essentially?
It will. We're going to run.
Oh, we're just assuming that. Okay.
This is insane! These bridges are hellish enough without them also being on fire.
Also being on fire, yeah, just another threat to deal with.
And what about the other man? If he's still out there, this could...
Yeah, this could screw him over.
He's dead. We're not losing another lantern.
You're very convinced of this. He says it with such detached certainty. It's as if he saw it happen himself. No one argues with him. guide steps closer to the prowlers. I fall into step behind him, staying close behind his back. He bends the lantern back down until it's lowered to his outstretched arm. The pouch in his hand is set aflame. With a practiced flick of the wrist, he swings the staff back and up. The glass on the lantern snaps close.
Don't get left behind.
You've already left us behind, technically. He takes 3 quick steps and then tosses the pouch. The prowlers are back in the water before the pouch even lands. As soon as it does, the fire sticks lick and curl itself around the wood. Oh, so even though this wood has technically been sitting in water, it's somehow dry, magically? Okay. Ooh, we get fire in the backgrounds as well. What a nice touch, even though it means terror. The guide breaks into a sprint, and so do the rest of us. The blaze grows despite the heavy dampness. See, the heavy dampness from the lake? Magically, we're literally on water and we're somehow still burning. These bridges aren't normal bridges, of course that's true. Nothing here is right. Hopefully they won't collapse with the flames. We're going to stay on the guide's heels almost too close for comfort. If he stops abruptly, we'll all crash into one another. Maybe even fall off the bridge. When the world tilts, I'm mid-stride when I put my foot down. The bridge isn't where it was. It lurches to one side, either because it's weakened or pushed. Oh man, I managed to keep our ground as the guide does. Presses on without even bothering to see if we're able to follow. Okay? Velma growls in frustration as we push to keep up with the guide's pace. Hey, we see an island. We see an island. As our storm of feet thunder across the boards. A silver sliver begins to rise into view just above the edge of the water.
It's the island.
Oh, civilization of some kind. The island? I squint. And suddenly make out the craggy forms of land and earth. I see it. We're almost there. Safety at long last in sight. New energy surges through me. We push ourselves faster, longing to put these godforsaken bridges behind our backs. All at once, the bridge ends and our entire group rushes ashore. Earth, solid earth, a haven from the water. I catch my breath while still moving even further away from the dark shoreline. I can't believe we actually made it. Even more difficult is the idea we're only halfway done. When night falls once more, we have to do it all over again. So this means we survived night 1? A heavy arm falls across my shoulders, and I straighten to see Belmil smiling wearily at me.
Good work out there.
I mean, parkour, cardio, and fear of dying. It's not the usual I don't know what that word is. Google to the rescue yet again, because I don't know English. Google, can you just type so I can figure out this word?
Commendation.
Commendation. Oh, commendation. Gotcha. Not the usual commendations of a job well done. There's sadness, perhaps even sympathy in the sentence. It ends flatly. Usually Bellamy's comfort and good nature gives me at least the surge to smile. Right now it feels like a hollow victory. Despite still having the comfort of one of us, of one another, we are incapable of doing any true good. We're only able to save ourselves. A quiet moment passes between us. And then the guide is there. He moves so smoothly that his steps are soft on the sand are nearly quiet, and his dusky clothes blend with the thinning of night.
The sun will rise soon. The fire on the bridge is the only reason this island isn't overrun with prowlers right now. However, they could still pose a threat.
They could? How? Why? Bellamy levels an empty look towards the guide.
Is there something we should do?
Yeah, like, come on, dude. Give me some information so we can actually leave. Come, okay. The guide takes us to an area a bit further inland, but not too far from the water. Trees partially obscure our location. There's enough room to watch the coast in case prowlers start to emerge from the water. Essentially, it's a place where an ambush would be hard.
If any of you see anything at all, speak up. We don't want them to sneak up on us.
Fair, fair, because clearly we've already learned they're very quiet in walking up to us. Almost automatically, each member of the group turns a different direction. As the sky continues to fade from pale purple to muted blue, the waters stay silent. For the first time, nothing happens. It's a miracle. Suddenly, my chest is lighter, and the air is fresher. Wow, we actually see daytime in the game. The first pricks of light appear over the horizon, stinging my eyes after such a long journey across. As sound catches my attention, I move my focus towards its direction. The guide is opening the latch of his lantern. He gently, almost respectfully, blows out the light. A little.
We no longer have to worry about the Nixie. It is over for today.
So they're quite literally vampire-like creatures, worrying about nighttime only. And that this island has to be there in order to account for a 2-day journey across this lake. Unless there's another island further along. I'm almost unable to feel tears of relief from pouring out those words. We made it through the night. We survived. Now it's a question, can we actually survive the night by saving the 2 other characters as well? I mean, it did give me an achievement saying inevitability, but the whole fact of if we don't make that sharp turn, we could push Margaret to take the turn as well. And then with the whole man, it seems like maybe we just need to keep our wits about ourselves. No one feels the need to speak. We look to each other, an understanding passing between us. And then we find our own space, as comfortable as we can get, and lie down for the rest we weren't sure would ever come. Sleepy, relax in the sun. Eyes slowly blink open, readjusting to the brightness, what little there is. The sun is obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbows and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but it isn't the only reason I'm eager to get to my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, Belmel is still fast asleep, just clueless, laying there relaxed. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. There is a creeping silence here. I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent, and I shift my weight back and forth, unsure what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. Belna wakes suddenly, rising with alarm. mouth opens and then shuts, and after a moment of fumbling, a word finally escapes.
Hello.
Wow. Wow, Kikia. He gives me a gentle smile and makes his way over to me.
Morning.
Morning. A pocket of quiet descends over us. Belmel sighs. The atmosphere's weighing on him already.
We should eat something soon.
Smart. Did you bring provisions?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of down in the dumps. We did let 2 people down. Oh, hello. A distinctive rustling of leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears emerging from the thicket. The mellow grails at him as he makes his way over.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious.
Why is that so really? So it's not the day, the water itself is the problem.
Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It would be wise to meet me here before nightfall.
Okay.
Why do you do this?
I mean, the whole thing of why the guide is called the guide, why the guide's father never accepted him. There's so many questions of who else would take on this mantle if not him. I sharply turn towards Belmer as he snarls and confronts the guide.
If you had just let him follow behind us, if you had been there before, none of this would have happened.
If you had been there before what?
They didn't have to die.
Now's the question, did they? Or was it the matter of their perceived time, the thing that took their lives away? The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected.
If all you're going to do is leave everyone to be lost, then why bother guiding us at all?
Which then it maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the whole thing of a trade the Knicks have of being able to guide. You're able to only save so many. Despite Belmer's severe words, the guide apparently considers his piece here finished. He turns towards the forest area from which he came.
Wait.
Yeah, he has nothing to say to you. Belmer calls out to the guide, reaching towards him. Before he can make contact, I quickly place a hand on his shoulder. He lowers his arm to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. We stay this way until the guide disappears from view. Belmer begins to kick at the ground, spraying tiny pieces of gravel about.
Bemele, I know you're angry, but regardless of our feelings, we need the guide. If he leaves us, we'll all die.
Yeah, that's the big threat.
And we've done so well with him.
I mean, we ourselves survived. I give him a cold glance. We won't even know which bridge to take without the guide. Belmel knows that. This needs to stop. There are people counting us to make it back.
We can't afford to lose our way.
Right. Gotta put it in serious terms. The anger etched into his expression fades into sadness.
I can't stay here right now.
Okay, take a breather. We'll step away. Quietly, I speak. Honestly, go with this. Don't learn too much lore. Again, we're trying to keep to ourselves and see where the path unfolds. I look at the ground until I no longer hear the footsteps of others. It seems as... Oh, we just got an achievement. Alone. It seems as though my wish to be alone will be granted. There's no sign they will be returning. Cold chill somehow whips its way down my back, despite the calm of the air. I keep my gaze on the dark ground, taking a breath so deep it stings the back of my throat. I steadily empty my lungs as I try to empty my mind of thoughts. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Nothing is straightforward. I find something familiar and powerful in my thoughts to latch on. The mission. I have to try and focus on the mission. I need to be strong. My eyes start back up. Somebody watching me. Is somebody watching? I wonder if I'm afraid of being seen struggling like this. Or if I hope I may not be on my own here. I mean, technically, if someone knows how to survive, they could be on this island for quite a bit of time. It doesn't matter. There's still nothing but the silent island. Time seems so indefinite around me, passing slowly. On this island, it almost seems to move slow as a stagnant pond. I shake my head, burying the thought. It's irrational, but I cannot bear to think of even old pond water. Gradually, my consciousness begins to include the world again. I do a few standard warm-up stretches, testing my mind and body. I do not know how long it's been, but I feel I've regained enough of my wits to continue on. I need to make sure everything's alright. I head through the wooded part of the wood. There isn't anything that we could call a path, but I managed to pick my way through the brush quite well. Though through a thinning strand of trees, I briefly catch sight of the guide, standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, but even though I'm sure he turned his head towards me, he shows no sign of acknowledging me. I continue my check without heeding it. After moving on, I find Belmer on a jagged clearing, leaning against a tree. He's already noticed me and is looking my way, smiling. As I get closer, I can pick up on the sadness behind his jovial expression.
How are you faring? Any problems?
Lots of problems. Clearly we're in conflict and we feel we are failures.
Everything is fine. I came to check on you.
I mean, checking, but obviously we're having a bit of a mental crisis as well.
How kind. I've calmed down since then.
Well, that's a good thing. At least you do not have a short temper. You can refocus yourself.
I'm glad to hear that. Is there any way I can help or anything you'd like to say?
Just to get some conversation going. He raises an eyebrow at that. His grin is becoming markedly playful.
I didn't expect to see you so worried about me, Kika.
Hey, we're work buddies. We gotta keep each other's back. I had to force myself to not avert my eyes at the comment, embarrassment flowing into me. Elmo notices my reaction. He does not draw attention to it, however. Instead, he throws his arms out wide with a sour expression.
Have you seen the guide?
I saw him for a moment. Is clearly asking out a sense of obligation and makes no secret that he's not pleased to be discussing the guide. I nod in response.
I saw him earlier. He is the same as always.
Right.
Good. In that case, I'm going to stretch my legs for a bit. I feel stiff from standing in one place for so long.
You just been hanging out here blowing off steam? I bid him a brief goodbye. Elmo waves as he departs. I find that I've been pacing back and forth for some time. I finished my check a while ago, so Now I have nothing left to do but aimlessly wander. So pretty much it does feel like the text itself, that the other two survivors could have been here as well, and I could have made a check on them. I mean, it doesn't feel stilted or anything, but it just feels in the text itself that it's implied that I could have saved them both. I'm overcome with restlessness. This island may be safer than the bridges, but that is far from enough to ease my mind. I quietly sigh and decide to wait on my own. If I go back now, however, whoever I encounter will know that I don't want to be alone. That is more troubling than simply staying where I am at. I sit down and silently listen to the ambiance of the island as I wait for time to pass. I can only hope this will all end before I can no longer keep myself together. Ooh, what a lovely sunset color. The sun begins to descend into the sky, and the light starts to fade into the fog. Spooky time, I need a blanket. I'm kinda cold. Save me my blanket from the chilliness. I feel relieved that it's almost time to leave this island. A chill slips down my spine at the thought of what comes next, however. Belma soon arrives. This gives me a half smile as he waves.
Hello there.
Hey there. I wave back and walk over. I'm glad he's here. I don't want to be alone any longer.
Hello.
Hello. The atmosphere grows tense as the quiet stretches on. We have a lot of awkward and just quiet moments together, even before the ethical dilemma. Belmel seems torn between saying something and keeping the silence. Before too long, the guide arrives. His presence snuffs out all chances of conversing definitely. I keep my focus on steadying my breathing, bracing myself for what's ahead. All three of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. Night settles like a shroud over the land, every inch of the world now covered in unrelenting darkness. Suddenly, there's a gurgling. The water parts as the bridges of Sinnlos rise, powered by some unnatural force, creaking like they might fall apart. I feel an inexplicable pounding like a hammer in the back of my head, beating faster and heavier than my own heart. I clench my teeth to stop it from churning my stomach.
We must go now.
It must be time to go. Though, it does sound like a good time to pause the game. Because, I mean, it's fitting to leave this on a bit of a cliffhanger. Because, for one, spoilers. Because, obviously, if we do want to play this game, it is free on Steam. And it's called Lake of Voices. Just in case if you like to try it out. That way you don't get too spoiled for further plot. Because it says we're halfway, but honestly, who knows actually how much further we have to go for distance sake. And especially because the fact of we have our work friend Bellemare that we could raise affection for. And the two other characters that we left behind, that seemed to be another option of them coming along as well. But since we made terrible decisions to survive the night, we don't know that. Still, curious questions to be had. Don't know why my hair continues to part this weird clumpet. But as well, it does seem like a good time to stop because I hear my roommate getting a little bit louder with his video games. So I'm probably gonna have to leave now. still a nice, just relaxed night to try out a game. Obviously, my recording time earlier didn't pan out as successfully as I would like to, so I'm probably going to do some recording later with another game. That way I have at least some kind of content to use. I'm going to go marvel at my fingernails still. They're so cool, and you can see the color from here. But it's gonna be a long day of work tomorrow. I won't be on stream tomorrow, but I will on Thursday. And at this point, I should be on my regular schedule, so no surprises. And we will depart for the night. So that will require me to take away your music for a moment. Pardon. And let's pop ourselves into the end of stream. Yeah, that is all for today. Just a spooky little game to try and just to catch everyone up. I mean, we will continue the game, but I'll give it a few more days. That way we have a break between the tension. So, have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.